And good evening, and welcome to City Focus. I'm Marty Olsen, your host, and tonight we're going to be running solo. I think all the candidates are in downtown New London tonight. There's a food stroll, and those are generally a pretty nice time, and I get the chance to sample most of the fine dining in downtown New London. But we're on the air, we're live, and if you're watching, we certainly, I would encourage you to give me a buzz and contribute to the program and share your thoughts on what's going on. We do have an election, and we have the phone number up on the screen, 860-445-7499. We do have local elections in the state of Connecticut this year. And in New London, we have 7 city council seats, 7 Board of Ed seats, and the mayor is got 2 more years. So that office is not up, but we do have the council and the school board. And the GOP, I think, has got a good quality candidates running for both council and the school board. And I'll give you a little bit of a rundown if you're not familiar with the Republican candidates for city council. You have Gina Phillips. Gina ran 2 years ago, ran a very, very competitive race. She owns and operates Northeast Paving, which is, I think, speaks volumes. A, she's a businesswoman, and she's in a male-dominated industry in blacktopping and paving, and got a fine reputation in the business area and business world in Southeastern Connecticut. You probably see her signs for business all over Southeastern Connecticut. Also, Hans Hartman, and Hans has been on this program a few times, and I think he's articulated a fine platform on why he's running. And if you've had a chance to speak to him, I'm sure you would agree. And I would encourage folks to make an effort to chat with him if you have a chance to meet with him. I think you'll find him to be somebody who's meritorious of due consideration for that vote. It's also his first time running for local office. And then we have Aaron Ide. Aaron has actually run twice before. This will be his 3rd trip. He's an engineer and works over at Electric Boat. Very, very sharp young man. And I think you'd find that he'd be a real asset serving the city as a city councilor. He reminds me a lot of Adam Spracacci in terms of his problem solving. Adam's also an engineer and served on the council. And we think that he would do a terrific job. The key is you got to get elected. And for those folks who are dissatisfied with the current crop of incumbents, the only way you're going to get any change is to pull a different lever. So I would encourage you to get on line B. Also, we have Beloved Carter is running. She has run for mayor, and she also has run for state rep. And she's a real sweetheart. She's a New Londoner at heart, and she's somebody who is passionate about improving our community. And again, I think she's been on the program a number of times and has I think, a way about her that would encourage you to say, you know, I want to give this woman a chance. She's really got her wits about her. She knows what she wants to do. I know that housing is certainly one of her big issues, affordable housing, to be more specific. And the last candidate that the GOP has for council is John Russell, who runs Homeward Bound Treasures in downtown New London, also a member of the New London Kiwanis Club, serves on a number of boards and agencies, including the Veterans Affairs Commission and the Water and Water Pollution Control Authority. And John has run for office a number of times, and he brings I think he brings us a good overall city knowledge, and he has served 1 term back from 2009 to 11. So I feel very comfortable with the quality of our city council candidates, and I would hope that you folks will make an effort to engage one and all, and that also that our candidates will make an effort to reach out to you. We have 3 candidates running for school board, and one is Sarah Turner, and Sarah has been on this program a couple of times. She's a parent, and she is very, very passionate and knowledgeable of what's going on in the school district. And I think that she really merits serious consideration for a seat on the school board. I think she'll work with those who she serves with, but the important thing is that she's not just going in there to take up space. She goes to the board meetings. She has an acute interest and observation of what's going on with the schools, and we need that. We need people who are got a working knowledge of our district, how it's functioning, what's working, what's not working, and what we can do to improve things. So I would encourage you to give her a shot. Also is John Martin. John Martin is served 21 years as a teacher in the New London district. I can't think of a gentleman who is more qualified to serve than John. He's currently teaching in a private girls' school north of Norwich. But I think that from the inside, he has what it takes. And folks should give him all due consideration. And last but not least is Kat Goulart. And Kat has run for a number of offices, city council, state rep. She certainly knows the issues, the ins and outs of our local government. And I think she deserves your vote as well. So with that, I want to encourage folks watching to please give me a buzz here. The number's on the screen at 860-445-7499. Let's discuss what's going on, what's on your mind, what are the issues that have got you all hot and bothered, and see if we can find solutions to our problems. I must say, though, that this particular cycle, things seem to be, quite frankly, very quiet. I have not seen much in the newspaper or really on the radio. Lee Elsey will have candidates on if they contact him, but you have to reach out to him. But beyond lawn signs, I've not seen many folks that have been out banging doors. I know Hans Hartman has been doing doors. He's got the door handle hangers with his outline of the city. And I've seen a number of our candidates that have been out doing sign waving on corners during rush hours in the morning and later in the day. But in terms of getting a handle on what people are thinking, what they want to talk about, what are the issues that is driving the Republican candidates to run, I think we need to, we've got to step it up. I don't know what the Democrats are doing. It seems like they're not doing anything at all. I think they're assuming that they're going to win and that they don't have to put much effort into this. And I hope that comes back and bites them in the backside. It's really, it's kind of a slap in the face to the electorate when they won't get out and share what they're doing and what their thoughts and ideas are for New London. But I'm not sure that it's been a light campaign on lawn signs, which I think some folks may think is actually not a bad thing. I know that when I've run, I've tried to have an abundance of signs because I want people to know that I have had support in every quarter of the city. But apparently this time around, the candidates are not utilizing that mode of paid advertising that I did years ago. So what is on your mind? There is a debate scheduled, I've been told. It's being sponsored by the League of Women Voters and Hearing Youth Voices. It's going to be on Saturday afternoon on October 25th at the Church of the City, and I believe it starts at 3 and it'll go for 2.5 hours, give or take a few moments. So we'll see who shows up for that, and this will give everybody an opportunity to meet the candidates who attend. Now, 2 years ago, there was a debate, I think sponsored by similar people, and the Democratic candidates opted not to participate. Again, I thought that was a slap in the face to the electorate, that the Democrats didn't feel a need to be exposed, to share themselves, let people know who they are, stand up and be counted. And I think that when you're going to the booth to vote, you ought to have some consideration for those who are working hard to try to get your vote. They want you to vote for them, and they're willing to get out there, put themselves out front, and share their thoughts and listen to you on what's important to you. So what are the issues as we move forward here? The election's on the 4th of November, which is sneaking up pretty quick. One that is perpetually an issue, and it's probably the most important thing that the general government does, and that's public safety. And are you comfortable with our public safety in New London? Do you feel that we are putting enough money into that area? Are we getting the best value for our tax dollars when it comes to the police? Whether it's as the city as a whole or in the central business district. I will offer you my thoughts. I think that we are, we set a goal. Actually, it's in an ordinance, so it's more than a goal, to have a staffing level of at least 80 police officers a number of years ago. Matter of fact, I was on the council that voted for that. And that was after Mayor Finenzio shredded the police department during his term at the helm. And we really have never recovered from that. But I think that it's important that more effort is put into getting more cops. We need more presence, especially in the downtown area. We have about a 50% vacancy rate in our storefronts downtown, and that's appalling. You don't see any foot traffic in downtown at any time, day or night, even on the weekends. And on the Friday, Saturday nights, the municipal parking lot gets filled up, and the street parking fills up pretty nice too, but you don't see a lot of pedestrian traffic. And during the day, it's deader than a doornail. And the thing is that is it the tail wagging the dog, or the other way around? It's chicken or the egg. What comes first? Because I think that folks have got to feel safe before they're going to come down, and people aren't going to invest if there's nobody downtown. So it makes it a kind of a double whammy for us down there. There are a lot of apartments being built or renovated in the central business district, as well as the large new buildings, the docks, and what's the one down there on the old parcel 8? In any event, the two large buildings, and you're not seeing the folks who are moving in there that are making a beeline into downtown New London. And there's still, there's no retail to speak of. And you've got your restaurants and you have your clubs and bars. And that's something that's been a trademark for downtown New London for decades now, but it hasn't proven to be a draw in and of itself. People need to have something else to do. An area they think that we are not taking advantage of, and it's right in our lap, is our historical sites. We've got an abundance, a plethora of small historical sites that a walking tour certainly could be promoted better than it is, and also would require the folks that are taking care of these different places, I would say, to cooperate and work together a little bit better. But going all the way down under the bridge with the Old Town Mill, and then you walk and you have the ancient the burial ground, and then you have the St. James Church, and their Tiffany glass and whale oil row, and then continue down, and we've got the courthouse. And depending on which way you'd like to go, you can go down to the Hempstead House, the Huguenot House. I still call it the Huguenot House. That's what it was called when I was a kid. I guess they promote it now as the Hempstead Houses. But and then if you go into the downtown area, you got the original library, you know, the Guard. We've got the train station. We have the Nathan Hale Schoolhouse. You've got the Custom House. We've got the Shaw Mansion. And for those who have got the stamina, go over to Fort Trumbull and visit literally the fort. So, I mean, there's plenty of things to do, and we haven't threaded the needle and got people in for that. You know, Boston has the Freedom Trail, and, you know, I think that if we more properly and aggressively marketed our historical sites, we could generate people coming into town just for that purpose, for a half day or a day trip. There's also the, you know, there's a black trail in downtown New London with a number of sites, and they're marked, but it also needs to be marketed. And quite frankly, those two things should be blended together. It's not two cities, it's one. So I think that that's something that I had suggested when I last ran for mayor, that we need to have somebody to handle tourism and get people and market. And I think you see with more traffic and a reason to come here, that you start to see some of the storefronts filling up. And I think that that's important. You know, it's otherwise it's just we're a pass-through. And I think that that is clearly shown by what transpires at the ferry district when the folks come in from you know, Block Island or from Long Island, that you know, they get in their cars and they're out of town. They're not staying. They're not coming here and visiting. They get on the ferries, do their business, turn around, and they leave. And you know, what an opportunity lost to have these. You know, the Long Island ferry, Orient Point, I mean, they're advertising that they have 1 million passengers. Well, how many are staying in New London? How many are coming in for dinner? How many are staying overnight? And you know, I don't think that we're maximizing, again, our opportunity. 3 colleges in town, Coast Guard Academy, beautiful campus, and it's open and accessible to the public. Now, you do need to have an ID to get on campus for safety purposes, but once you're on, it's a fascinating, fabulous place to meander around. Conn College across the street, along with the Lyme and Allen Museum. It's these are places to be. The Arboretum with Connecticut College. The assets are here. Let me repeat that. The assets are here. What are we doing as a community to get people to come in and visit and enjoy and share their positive experiences and come back and encourage others to do the same? And there's part of the building blocks of doing something and getting the ball rolling in a positive nature for our community. You know, Ocean Beach is certainly well, it's been a treasure and a destination for New London. Well, since it was opened in 1940, the original beach was obliterated in '38 hurricane. And again, we are, it seems like we just don't know what we want to do. The mayor seems hell-bent on, well, actually, I think he's accomplished his goal. He wanted to get Sodexo out of there, and he solicited RFPs, or requests for proposals, for operating the beach. And Sodexo, who's been down there now for a good number of years, and David Chagru has done, I think, a fabulous job as the general manager for that firm with the operations at the beach. But you know, we're again not taking advantage of that facility. The city, who owns the property and the buildings and the pool, the boardwalk, etc., puts nothing into the beach, and then they scapegoat and take out their frustration on Dave Chagru and Sodexo, which I think is appalling. That stand up and be counted. Put your money where your mouth is. We have that fine banquet hall, and a suggestion that I had made a number of years ago was that we need an elevator there to take care of our folks that are handicapped and have a difficult time, obviously with stairs, and the access for handicapped, you've got to go up a pretty significant hill on the, if you're facing the building from the parking lot on the left side, to enter. And how much business are we losing because we don't have really a good handicapped accessibility facility? I mean, the venue and the views and the food and the service is all top shelf. But if you can't get in, you're not going. You'll find some place that you can. Now, if you read the newspaper and pay attention to what's going on, the mayor, as I noted, has solicited RFPs, and recently they were opened, and we only got one, and it's from a new business out of New York, outside of New York City, and we don't know what the RFP requested as the citizens of New London. We don't know what the firm has offering and for what price, and I'm very concerned that without a level of competitiveness here, something just doesn't seem correct. I would be inclined to throw this out and keep bidding until we get some multiple requests for proposals and compare what people are willing to do. We don't have to just take the first one that comes down the pike. I think that that's short-sighted, and we need to be a bit more thoughtful in terms of what we are doing. And we need to be also transparent. The public ought to have a clear idea of what the city leaders are looking at and what they're perhaps going to accept, and not have it look like there's a little bit of a sneaky business going on here. One thing that concerns me is that the mayor has been all over Sodexo and David Chagru for how they've been doing their job, which happens to be extraordinarily weather dependent. If you have good weather, you do well. If you have lousy weather, not so good. Is that model that at the beach that he's been blasting is the exact same model that they're using with the new rec center. We've got a firm that's operating it, and they're going to be getting paid a base level, and if they hit certain benchmarks, they stand to make some more money. That's what the plan is at the beach. And what folks have a hard time with is that the city has negotiated these contracts. It's not like somebody held a loaded gun to this and said, you must do this. If you don't like it, don't accept it. And it galls me when I see how we're doing business. I mean, we're amateurs, and it shows. It really does. And then when they say, well, the beach has lost $700,000 over a period of years, and it averages out to about $70,000 a year, which is not good, I want to say up front. However, it's packaged as if we're getting creamed for the $750,000 a year, and that's just not true. And a problem in terms of transferring information right now is that the day paper is so understaffed. I mean, they've cut loose Rick Coster, and they've cut loose everybody's favorite David Collins, and they don't have many reporters. And it's almost as if what comes out for local news, at least in New London, is press releases out of City Hall. So they're just telling it the way they want it, and that's how it's printed. And that's not necessarily the best way for the folks of us who live in New London to be getting our information, or lack thereof. Again, I'd like to just remind you, you're watching City Focus, and I'm Marty Olsen, your host. And tonight I'm running solo. So if you're tuned in, please feel free to give me a buzz. We can have a conversation. Number's on the screen at 860-445-7499. And see if we can tune it up a little bit. Remind you, we do have an election on November 4th. And again, here's an opportunity for those folks who feel that there's room for improvement in our city and we're not getting the best from the folks currently serving. There is another line, it's line B, and that's the Republican line on your ballot when you go in to vote. And the key is to get out and vote. If you stay home and don't contribute and participate, well, then you get what you get. And you know, a lot of folks like to complain, but they don't get out and do their civic duty and don't also make change. And in terms of how our ballot works in New London, because we have, for both the City Council and the Board of Education, there are 7 seats for both. And there's room for each party to nominate a maximum of 7 candidates for each the council and the school board. There are a Green Party, and I'm not sure if there's anybody else on the ballot. But the way the ballot is lined up, you can split your ticket where you can vote for any individual candidate that you want to. So if you have a candidate that's on the top line that you like, you can certainly fill in a little bubble for that. And if there's a candidate below that person that you like as well, you can vote for that individual as well. The key is you can vote up to 7 or less. You may say, you know, there's only 2 or 3 or 4 that I really feel comfortable with. Well, vote for 2, 3, or 4. There's nothing that says you have to vote for 7. And also that you can vote when they're running up and down over each other. And that's an important consideration. No candidate is running against a specific other candidate. It's not like you're running for president or senate or governor. You're voting for a total of 7 seats. And the last 4 years, at least, we've had nothing but Democrats running everything. They've had the mayor's office, they've had the city council completely, and the school board. And we've had you know, no diversity of thought, that's for sure. And quite frankly, I'm disappointed, especially as one who has served, that at the council level and the school board, but I served on the council, is that the mayor has basically been doing whatever the heck he wants. There's been no real discussion of the issues, at least not in public, and been no pushback, no questioning, no other ideas. It's his way or the highway. And that was reflected after their party nominated candidates this summer when 2 incumbent candidates were not nominated because they had the audacity to question the mayor on a handful of things. And he didn't care for that very much and took it out on them, and they didn't get nominated. However, they are both back on the ticket after a primary. But to have to go through the time and expense of a primary for vindictiveness kind of shows you what kind of leadership that we've got. And I don't necessarily think that that's in the best interest of our community. Now, I want to inquire or share with you, you know, a key to a thriving community is the educational system. And often it gets short shrift at election time. I don't think often many people are paying attention to education. They don't know who the candidates are or who they're electing, and which is unfortunate because a positive, terrific school district is a bellwether for what type of a community and what do we support? Do we support our children? Are we looking out for our kids to get the best possible education and prepare them for life so that when they get out of high school, whether they opt for college, whether they opt for the trades, or perhaps they opt for the military, that they've got the basics to move forward or the tools to achieve success where they want to go. And quite frankly, our district has been and continues to troll near the bottom of the state of Connecticut. We're competing with Hartford, Bridgeport, New Haven, Waterbury, and that's not where we want to be. If you want to encourage young families to move into the community or stay in the community, the educational system absolutely has to be upgraded in a major, major way. You know, the city was kind of forced into this magnet school district when we had the special master about 10 years ago, and this has not proven to work out very well for us. We're not getting the out-of-district students that we need to meet the benchmarks to get the funding that's supposed to turn the corner for us to provide a better education. And as we're doing this, many of our neighboring communities are saying, geez, New London's getting all this extra dough here, being a magnet school district, and they're offering opportunities to encourage out-of-district students in their own communities. And it's not easy. We've got to do better. And I don't like excuses that for whatever the reason, we've got to do a better job. The families that stay in the community, they've got a choice. They can send them to the New London district, or they can pick up and go, or they can send their kids to private school or out of district. So there are choices, and if many folks are taking not to utilize the New London Public Schools, or they'll make that choice either at middle school or high school, and it's not painting a very positive academic picture. And again, most folks are not going to gamble with their children's education. So if we're not getting it done here, folks have choices. They will take advantage of them and go to other communities, other schools, other districts, home schools, another choice that many folks are taking advantage of these days. And again, it's up to us as a community. A good, strong middle class utilizing our schools, and if our schools are doing a good job, it'll be a draw into the community. This is where you're going to get your community activism, the folks that are going to be the heads of the PTOs, they're going to be the Little League coaches, they're going to be the scout leaders, and all these other aspects of having a thriving community requires the residents and families to give back to the community. It's so important, and we just can't allow a few to make all the decisions for the whole. It just is not a healthy environment. You need folks that are contributing in one fashion or another, and the opportunities to do so are almost infinite. And it's fun. And ironically, a lot of it has to do with your own kids or grandchildren. You can help out and work and see that these youngsters have multiple opportunities to do different things, so that they're exposed to so many more things, so that when they move on in life or even through education, whether it's through here in the city, or if they move on into to college or whatever they're going to do as young adults, that they're not looking at the things narrowly, but they've got a whole wide base of things that they see they've been touched by. And that requires a lot of community involvement. And as many of you know, I'm very active with the New London Kiwanis Club, and that's what we do. We our primary, not exclusive, but primary mission is youth and youth activities. We just raised 27 grand on our golf tournament. All of that money goes back into the community. So we're doing our part, and we're not a large group. We're a pretty small group, actually, looking for members of folks who are looking for an opportunity and a way to get involved. But it's a one of many ways to share. My introduction to the service clubs and stuff was back when I was a young kid in New London, Little League Baseball. We're playing at the Mitchell Woods. You had the Lions and the VFW, the KFCs, the Mitchell College, and businesses like Lehigh Oil and Hartford National Bank sponsored teams. And up at Bates Woods in the American League, Benet Brith and I think Linder Dodge are two that come to mind quickly that sponsored up there. And the Kiwanis Club sponsored a Babe Ruth team, an electric boat. So in Babe Ruth, and you need that kind of interaction and support of the local clubs and businesses to give the kids opportunities to participate. Now, I mentioned earlier the apartments. Now, the new apartments that have been going up and are being rented out now have been very expensive, especially for our area. They're a high end, and I'm finding it amazing because they really don't offer any extras to speak of. It's not like they're tagged, on a golf course, or they don't have swimming pools or tennis courts or any of that kind of stuff. They may have a small gym in the facility, but there's not a heck of a lot. And they're getting top dollar, and which is also pushing up rents in the rest of the community. And this is known as gentrification. And you don't hear our Democratic friends campaigning on, well, we're gentrifying and we're pushing the locals out so that they can't afford to live here anymore. And again, they're not looking out for our own, and I think that that's a sad commentary on our leadership. And now down at Fort Trumbull, they are now permitted to build I think it's a 400-unit apartment complex down at Fort Trumbull. And for the better part of 20 years, that was hung up by the state at a maximum of 100 or 104 units, and that was because for safety reasons and emergency situations, flooding or fire, that folks would not be able to get out safely. And now all of a sudden the state has rubber stamped a 400% increase. And who are we going to fill these things up with? I have a genuine concern that the apartments that we're building currently and filling, and the ones that are on the drawing board, we are getting folks, young folks, coming in, and many of them are going to go to work at Electric Boat, and that's a good thing. I mean, I'm not going to argue with the need for jobs, and but you got these folks coming in, and part of the discussion we're having here is that these places are built primarily for singles or young couples. They're certainly not designed for families, and are they going to stay here? Are they going to stay here and become vested? Apartments, one of the advantages of an apartment is it's easy in and easy out. And so if it comes where if you're a young family, you're single, you get married and have kids, are you going to stay in New London? Are you going to be that coach or scout leader? I don't know. Or are you going to boogie on out of here and go to East Lyme or some other place? Or perhaps other employment opportunities in other places, whether they be around here or who knows where. You opt out of New London or the region, and without being vested, it's easy to get out. And therefore, are you going to put the time and effort in to become part of the community? And that's, I think, a very, very important question that really hasn't been answered. years ago, with the urban renewal, the thought was when they were going to build housing, we were going to be getting condominiums. And the key there is with a condo is ownership. Now, the market apparently is running for apartments, which may be good for business, but it's a good for New London business. It's a good for our community. And I must say, our mayor and council have been exceptionally generous with our out-of-town investors with handing out 20-year tax abatements. Used to be if you got a 7-year abatement, that was pretty heady stuff. 20 years, I mean, it's hard for me to wrap my head around that. That just seems to me to be mind-boggling if they're getting 20 years to have their taxes phased in. And you don't hear them bragging about it, but they kind of do it quietly, and if they can get away with it without even getting it in the paper, they'll do that too. So it's, these are things that, you have to look at in terms of diversity of ideas. Folks that are willing to push back and ask questions of the leadership, and which right now is not happening, folks. There's nobody up there who's asking the tough questions. It's just go along to get along, and that's not healthy at all. Some of the areas that we have, outside investment, the Coast Guard Museum. It's under construction. I'm a bit surprised by that, considering that they don't have enough money to complete the job, and I'm talking tens of millions of dollars. What are they going to do when they run out of money? Are we going to have a skeleton there, a shell? And where's it coming from? I mean, that facility has shown virtually no interest by the Coast Guard itself, coasties, or the community at large, and we've got a call. Good evening, you're on the air. Hey. Hello.
Yes, I'm here. I can't see the phone, so press the button for the speaker.
Well, I'm glad you called.
One question. That there's $17 million coming into the waterfront property for improvements. Do you have any idea how that $17 million is going to be spent?
Sitting here this evening, the answer is no. Do you have anything that maybe I don't have?
Well, I do. If you sometime you want to stop by, I'll give you my ideas on it.
Oh, well, I'll do that.
I just want to let you know that I had a miracle eye operation. I've got an artificial cornea right now, and unfortunately, I wound up with COVID at the hospital. So I just got back a little bit ago, and I'm not over it yet. But you're welcome to come by and get any and all information I have. It sounds terrible that we don't have anybody running against the city council.
Well, the GOP's got 5 candidates, Larry, and I like the slate. I think they all deserve consideration. I think they're all qualified. There's no bad candidates on the Republican ticket. Now, can they all win? History says probably not. But I'd like to see some Republican representation on there. We need diversity of thought.
Oh, that's right. We do. But we got to have somebody that's willing to stand up and say something. But as near as I can tell, nothing happens. I want to get to the city council myself, but then I'm thinking I got all of those stairs and everything to go up, and right now I'm a little bit too weak to do it. And I know we're running out of time. It's too late this year, but I'd say the Republicans lost the best chance they had in years for doing anything. So maybe we'll get to see and they can talk to you, across from the table and get a lot of information. So.
Well, but you got to get out and support those that have been nominated. That's can't take it laying down. We've got good people, Larry. I mean, Gina Phillips is a terrific businesswoman, and she ran 2 years ago. John Russell, he's also a businessman, former Navy. Aaron Ides, an engineer. Hans Hartman has got a background in marketing and also in theater and stuff. And I mean, those 5 candidates. I mean, any one of them would do a great job. And beloved Carter.
Yeah, and well, actually, 2 years ago, they came to the house here to ask me to run for city council, and I said, look, I am 95 and I'm blind. I said, which one of you is going to volunteer to drag me around? Well, that was 2 years ago, and Marty, I haven't heard one call from any of them for the last 2 years. So, I don't know if you're ever going to get anybody to do anything out of the Republican Party. But I'm sorry to sound bitter, but I just can't help it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I managed to win a few over the course of time, and you and I do manage to have conversations periodically here. Probably not as often as you'd like, but I stop down. We have a phone call once in a while, and I always appreciate your thoughtfulness and your concern for the city.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another quick one. There was, from what I've heard and tried to add it up, there's about 2 million cubic yards of bottom that they want to dig up, and they don't know where to put it. They'd rather fight with New York than leave it here someplace in Connecticut where we could use it. I don't know how to get through to any of those people. So we'll see you again sometime, Marty.
All right, Larry. Listen, thank you so much for calling. Say hello to Barb for me, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep.
Bye now.
Night.
Bye.
There's a genuinely concerned citizen from New London, and I'll tell you, if we had more Larry Hamples, we'd be in a lot better shape, I'll tell you. And going along with the Coast Guard Museum is this walkway they want to build over the train tracks from the museum to the parking garage. And again, one bid, and I think again they should just throw this stuff out and start from scratch. And if they don't have enough money, they got to ante up and find out where they're going to get it, because otherwise they're just going to be proverbial into the wind, as they say. It's just and the city's getting socked with that. If that thing ever gets built, we are going to be the city's going to be responsible for it. How do we get suckered into that? We've never had a vote specifically saying that the city's going to absorb that responsibility. It's kind of a sneaky deal, and I discussed that with the law director a number of years ago. He says, we've got nothing on there where it says the city's going to do this. Well, he goes, it's insinuated in this vote over here about the overall project. Well, to me, that's smoke and mirrors there, and I just, the city has a hard time keeping the grass cut. Never mind taking care of a pedestrian walkway. I just shake my head. It's too much. But I got to tell you, folks, it's been fun tonight. I generally prefer to have a guest, but I think most of the candidates are downtown tonight with the food stroll. And if you haven't done a food stroll, I would encourage you to try it out sometime. It's a lot of fun, you can take your time, stroll. Stroll is the apt word, and try out the fare of the different restaurants downtown, and most all of them participate, so it's a good time. Let's see here. I had another note here regarding the homeless, and just to try to get thoughts from people, their thoughts on the homeless in New London. I mean, is it a concern? Is it a problem? Are we a destination for the homeless? Do other communities, their welfare budgets, are they cab fare to New London, or is it something that is under control? I throw that out rhetorically, and because I think, again, New London is a victim of perceptions, and we have to understand that. And for those of us who live here and maybe are more accustomed to how things aren't the way they are viewed from our neighbors outside, who maybe don't share our thoughts on some of the social issues of the day. Well, I hate to say, but I've run basically out of time here. My 15 minutes is up, and we'll see you next week on City Focus. I'm scheduled to have a beloved Carter on the program, council candidate, and Aaron Ide is scheduled for the week after. And we'll see, we'll get in the last week of the month. I want to thank everybody who's been watching for tuning in. You can also catch the program on reruns regularly on Breezeline. And also, this should be posted up on YouTube. And if you go to YouTube and search Marty Olsen, City Focus, SEC-TV, you can get the program at your leisure and dissect it, and give me a buzz. Tell me what you think. And again, thank you, and we'll see you again next week. Good night.